So from milks and creamers, let's move to something equally interesting, maybe even more so, creativity. And this is where we highlight women doing amazing things in their own different fields. Let's welcome Opanubi-Alasholuyi. She's a mixed media artist, paint producer, and entrepreneur. She's many things rolled into one. And you indeed look like beautiful mixed media this morning.
Thank you very much.
Mrs. Alasholuyi.
Yes.
I got it correctly.
You got it right.
Beautiful.
Thank
Welcome.
You. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yes, and you're doing a lot of things. You are into painting, and we don't get a lot of women doing painting these days. That's interior, an aspect of interior decor.
Yeah.
You also have a beach line wear.
Yes.
That's called Abyss Tidal.
Tribal tides.
Tribal tides.
Yes.
Amazing. We'll talk about all of that.
All right.
But how come you're a lot of things rolled into one? Let's talk about the backstory first.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for having me again. It actually started when I was in the UK, and I studied business and business information technology. And after a while, my daddy invited me, because the Ereke Paint is a family business. And my daddy invited me over to Nigeria to, join the family business. By the time, I didn't want to come to Nigeria.
You hear that all the time these days.
I didn't want to. But, having been there for a long time, and alongside with my sister, looking for a job wasn't that easy, it wasn't that easy. So I thought to myself, my dad is calling me on a platter of gold. Why don't I just come to Nigeria and see how it goes? If I don't like it, I can always go back. And so that was the agreement I had with my dad. And then I came to Nigeria. But this first 6 months was interesting and very nice. I mean, you're treated here in your own country as a first-class citizen compared to when you're over there. And I was loving it, I was enjoying it and everything. And I just thought to myself, no, let me just stay. Let me just stay. I love the ambience, the culture, everything. And that was how I stayed back in Nigeria. And joined the family business as a general manager of Ereke Paints Limited. But I wasn't fulfilled. I felt there was something missing. So I attended Daystar Christian Center. So when I got to church, I came outside, I saw an artist with all these beautiful paintings on the walls and everything. And I just got through that. Like, this is something I really want to do. Because when I was young, I loved creating, I loved dressing, I loved putting colors together. So I went to my dad and I said, Dad, I think I would love to also paint and do all these things. And my father, in your eyes, like, is this one not enough that you're doing? So in my spirit, I'm like, I don't think my daddy really understands what I really want to do. So I went to...
How old were you by this time, by the way?
I was, in my early 30s.
And you're an adult already.
An adult
so
already.
Who says you can't learn anything?
No,
in a very old age.
No,
okay.
That's not true. You're always young at heart, and if you put your mind to it, you always want, do it. And my artmate, so I now went to go and meet him, and I said, I would like you to brush me up, but my dad is not really feeling. He said, I know the mindset of your dad. And every time I was doing some art piece and he was brushing me up, I'll take it home. And my father would be like, wow, this is beautiful. And in my mind, I'm like, is this not the same man that, And with time, my father, sometimes when we're less busy at work, he would say, Fumi, is it not yet time for you to? And that's how my father encouraged me. And I had my very first exhibition at the company premises, where he invited friends, dignitaries, and all that to support me, and which was showcased and aired on TV. And from there, I kept on brushing myself up, and I've had like 3 or 4 exhibitions already in the past.
Beautiful.
Yes.
And some of your works are a departure from the norm. I'm not talking about the beachline wear now, your paintings. So tell us about, the types of clientele that you've attracted as far as interior painting is concerned, from the intimate residential homes to, business establishments, and, what informs the kind of, the work that you provide for them.
Okay, so what started me off in starting the beach wears and the paintings on hats and all that was I discovered that just having artwork on the wall, to me then, at the time, wasn't really, really moving, And I felt to myself that in this country, Nigeria, people will always eat. People will always put on clothes.
This is your work, by the way.
Yes.
And this is an intimate room.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Go ahead.
It's not even an intimate room. I created it to look like an intimate room. It's actually outside the office. And I used my artwork to demarcate and make it look like a room, you know. So that's where creativity comes in.
And this is your work too?
This is my work.
Okay,
yes.
So go ahead.
Yes. And so I just felt like people will always eat and people will always put on clothing. So I changed my mindset. Like, I will still paint on walls, on artwork for people to hang on their walls. But I believe that having it on the clothing will also speak volume, because people will have my artwork on their clothing and it can go mobile, it can go anywhere, even outside the country. And I got inspired by that. And that was what motivated me in starting the clothing line of having the African. I want people to appreciate our culture. I want people to appreciate art. Because, you know, there are times where people are like, art is for those abroad, that people don't really appreciate art. I want everybody to have my piece of artwork in their homes. And I just got motivated and I started it. And like play, people were just warming to it and being so like, wow, so you can put artwork on hats, you can put artwork on clothing.
On shirts, what you're wearing.
You know, this African wear and all that. And because I really love our country, I love our heritage, I said, okay, this is a way of spreading and create. You know, you don't have to say much. Picture speaks. And when people see you, those in diaspora too, they miss Nigeria, they miss our culture, and they want to feel the presence of our heritage. So when you have something like, you're wearing something like this in the UK or in the US, or like, people are drawn to you. Oh wow, I know where she's from. Oh wow, because I have Danfo buses as well, painted on clothing and everything. So people will be, it brings us together. It brings that unity and makes that kind of like, yes, we are together, we are one. So that's the kind of message, because I love to inspire people. I love to pass positive message across to people. So some of my paintings, I have inspiring words like blessed, peace, joy. Because we live in an environment where there's too much sadness, hostility and everything. And I love to preach through my art media. So that's what really, really encouraged me. And Amazing. If you look at this top, it's mixed with Ashoke pockets. Oh. So that's Ashoke pockets combined with the paintings as well. So that's why I call it a mixed media.
Beautiful.
Yes.
You've already talked about the beach line. Even I wanted you to talk about, you know, your painting work. We'll get to that. But how have you combined this creativity with business? You know, for those who are watching you and want to learn, you know, and probably have the same kind of talent, but they want to escalate it, you know, want to take it to another level where they can be visible. How have you gained visibility and, you know, the currency as well?
Yeah. The most important thing is to have a structure. If your business doesn't have a structure, it will be very difficult to be able to plan and to be able to work out things in a way that your mind is not, your brain is not cluttered with too much activities. You know, you need to be able to delegate as well to the right people, right set of people. And you need the right set of people to also work with you. If you don't have the right set of people to work with you, you'll be frustrated. You will seriously be frustrated. So I've been able to have a good structure, and I've been able to have the right kind of people to work with me, which makes work so easy for me to be able to think ahead and be creative and think outside the box in doing other things. So that's really, really helped me. And you have to be able to not to be frustrated in the system. I'm telling you, there's so many things that can frustrate you in the system, because having the raw materials to buy all these raw materials are quite expensive, because most of them are imported. And when people, you know, you charge people and they're like, what is so expensive? So I try to make my artwork as affordable as possible. I don't like the thought of people say, art is so expensive, so expensive. No, that's why I try to create a way where the cost of the items, I'm not using too much expensive. I source locally as well. And
but they're also durable.
They are very durable. You can wash this. You can wash this with soap, but not with too much, you know, those strong detergents. I don't advise that. It's just like you want to wash Ankara, Adire, you know, those tie and dye materials. You don't use very strong detergents to wash them. And when you're drying them out in the sun, you don't leave it so long out there for it to fade.
There's so many sides to this conversation. We could even talk about how entrepreneurs like you get frustrated and what government can do about it. But we must thank you so much.
Thank you.
And anchor at this point.
Thank you.
Beautiful work that you have here. I've been talking with Mrs. Mrs. Olufunmilayo Opanubi-Alasholuyi, a mixed media artist, paint, producer, designer, and the list goes on and on. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. God bless you.
Amen. And there's more to come on the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.